Hello to Emanuel Shahaf.
Hello, hello.
The monthly report, the monthly interview, what would be the headline that you would emphasize for the situation in Israel right now?
Breakup.
Breakup.
Yes.
Breakup of values, of breakup of the state, of the government.
Mostly of values, to some extent also of the government or of the institutions of the government.
Breakup and collapse.
Not yet. We're not in collapse yet, but we could get there.
What main value would you say and emphasize that is breaking down?
I think empathy for the weak. I think that's probably a central value which is it's gone completely lost. It's not. I mean, the state doesn't take care of its citizens anymore. Doesn't give a damn about the citizens anymore.
The Israeli citizens?
Yes, not only the Israeli citizens, but first and foremost the Israeli citizens.
The people that are kidnapped.
The people that are kidnapped. Not only the people that are kidnapped, also the citizens in general. They don't care. The government doesn't care about its citizens.
Give me an example, a practical example for people that are
first of all, those who kidnap, and in general the way it's acting with its soldiers and who are citizens after all the reservists are citizens, that the government doesn't mind, taking them to reserve duty for hundreds of days and doesn't make an effort to shorten the war. It's just despicable.
The Israeli Prime Minister is saying that he's doing whatever he needs and can do in order to shorten the war. The Hamas wouldn't give the Israeli hostages and kidnap people.
I think in any appearance in front of the TV cameras, and he mostly appears in front of foreign TV cameras, it's clear that he's lying most of the time. Lying most of the time. It's clear that he's lying most of the time. This is probably one of the reasons he doesn't want to appear in Israeli press conferences in Hebrew, because they'll call him out on that, although he recently did appear. But he's lying. He's a bold-faced liar.
What is the main lie that you...
The main lie is that he wants to shorten the war, that he wants to bring our kidnapped back. He doesn't want to do that. He has no interest in that.
Why?
Because he wants to stay in power. That's his main concern is staying in power.
Why?
Because I don't think he knows he can conceive of anything else to do. That's his whole being is being the Prime Minister of Israel. He's been the Prime Minister of Israel for almost 20 years. He can't imagine the state of Israel without him being the Prime Minister, and therefore he will do anything in his power to maintain his rule.
And the 50 Israelis that are held in the Hamas tunnels in Gaza,
they're expendable. They're expendable.
By Netanyahu?
Yes, they're expendable by Netanyahu and by his government, by inference.
If he would have been sitting here in these TV studios, what would you tell him? He's saying, well, I'm doing whatever I can. Hamas is not letting them out.
The man there's nothing you can tell him. There's nothing. He lives in a cocoon of his own. He lives in a world of his own. He's not accessible.
And the Israelis that are seeing that, the chief of staff of the Israeli military, General Zamir, and the other soldiers and ministers, what is their perspective?
Some of them think that he's a genius and he knows how to manipulate any given situation in the way that favors the policies that he wants to pursue. Some of them shut up because they derive power from being in the government, and some of them are just dumb. Okay, so there's enough support for him to continue this terrible policy.
And what about the Israeli people, the citizens here?
I think the people are mostly tired. There's a considerable part of the people, I estimate about between 30 and 40%, who actually support the government and support the policies of Netanyahu, and think that the war should be continued and we should release the hostages by force, and that's enough to sustain the kind of policy which is going on right now, because the other part of the population are not. I think they're mostly tired of fighting, resisting and opposing a government which is hell-bent on, creating this mayhem.
Do you think that the elections are going to be happening in Israel in 2026?
I think one of the reasons that Netanyahu is continuing the war and doesn't want to stop the war is because he's seriously considering to cancel the elections, which would be possible if the war would stays on.
How it would be possible?
You just say that
it's emergency.
It's an emergency. We're in a war. We can't have elections and the war at the same time, and that would be the end of the elections.
Talking about the war, do you think that the Israeli army will practically occupy Gaza? I think the refugees camp in the center of Gaza afterwards?
I think the army will make a very big effort not to do that. But in the end, it will give in to the demands of the government, or the chief of staff will resign, which may be possible. He will be replaced, and it won't be difficult to find a replacement for him.
And what about moving millions of people from Gaza to the southern part? How it would be done?
We are clearly in contravention of the international law here. And that's why the army will make a big fuss to prevent this from happening. But I'm not sure that it can be prevented. I think the government may replace the military advocate general and whatever they have to replace in order to get the army to do this. But the army will be complicit in doing that.
Don't you think there was going to be a prior deal held or manipulated by the President Trump and Witkoff?
No, I don't think so. I think neither Trump or Witkoff on his behalf want to get involved to that extent. I think they'll tell them, our government, do this and that, and if you don't, you're on your own. And they do it, and they give him all the rope he needs to hang himself.
And do you think this is going to be metaphorically hang someone?
Well,
the world is going to be stopping Israeli army.
Metaphorically, they're going to hang the state of Israel. Okay, Netanyahu will cause that from happening, meaning they will make us outcasts all over the world, and cause very heavy damage to Israel's economy, which is hanging on very, very nicely for the time being. But in the end, the world won't put up with what we're doing, because we're clearly in contravention of the law.
France, Germany, Australia, and many more countries, the UK, are saying stop the war.
Yep.
And let the Palestinians have an independent state, maybe in September, in the UN. So do you think practically what is going to be happening a month from now?
Not much. I think we're going to be pretty much in a similar situation. There's going to be continued pressure to move towards two states, which is factually impossible to do. Okay, so there's no way we can implement two states, not in the near future and not in the medium future, without the cooperation of the State of Israel, and the State of Israel is not going to cooperate with the two-state solution.
So let's talk about the solution of the federation, of the new coming book that you are offering for so many years.
Yeah, so federation is, in my view, not only in my view, one way we can slightly move the two-state solution towards the federation, which is something that could be made palatable to Israel under the circumstances. But in order for that to happen, first of all, we have to discuss it, and that's not happening for the time being.
What is the main topic of the practical solution of the federation?
Basically, autonomy for the Palestinians, autonomy for the Jews, a common federal government with equal rights for everyone. Okay, the borders to be defined.
And who are going to be calling the shots? The Israeli government?
No, the majority of the people who participate in elections. This is going to be a democratic government, and in the federation, the way I propose it, the way we propose it, there's a two-thirds Jewish majority. There would be a Jewish majority country. But at a later stage, Gaza, which at this time cannot be part of the federation for obvious reasons, can maybe join in the confederation or even in the federation when things have turned for the better.
What do you think about the initiative that is going to Jewish people around the world and communities to say their word, to have the word out there?
Yeah, well, the difficulty is, as usual, is to get them to speak in one voice. Okay, and I think
Jewish people.
Yeah, and I think the only way we can get them to speak in one voice is by promoting an alternative. I think anything else, you know, what is being done now to try to get the Jewish people to get the state of Israel condemned for its deeds in Gaza is not a good thing to unite behind, even if it's maybe legally warranted or justified, whatever. But I think in order to get everybody together, you have to go to work on something positive, and something positive is an alternative to the two-state solution.
And the Jewish value or human value of respect and compassion towards the 50 Israelis in the tunnels that you're saying basically
they're lost. With this government, they are lost. As long as this government is in power, there's not going to be a deal. There just won't be a deal.
Like the Israeli former soldier Ron Arad,
yes.
50 people, they are going to be disappeared.
They're going to be lost. Maybe we'll find some of them. Maybe even some of them will survive. But generally speaking, they're lost, in my view.
Because
the government of Israel doesn't want them to be released.
Do you think that the Israeli people can do something in order to prevent this faith?
Yeah, the only thing they can do, all go into the street and stop this government and bring down the government. That's all there is to do.
You know, part of telling the story is also what is happening with the Israeli story and journalists from Gaza. The story is not being told. Now, one of the journalists of Al Jazeera, but also, according to the Israeli spokesman, he was on the payroll of Hamas, so he's also dead.
Yeah.
Do you think it's the right move in order to tell a new story of what is happening in the world?
Of course not. Killing journalists is not a good way to deal with with journalists. It's just not that way. First of all, we are already in the bad books vis-a-vis the world. Because we don't let journalists go into Gaza.
Yet Israelis are saying, well, he was part of the Hamas.
Okay.
He was a terrorist.
Okay. The question is one of cost effectiveness. Okay, if you think this is going to contribute something favorable by getting him killed, obviously that's not going to be the case. Okay, and just even to take responsibility is ridiculous in my case. In my view, okay, we should not have done this in the first place. But now doing it and then take responsibility as if there's any way you can argue that this is something that can be justified. Okay, I mean, he may be a card-carrying member of Hamas, but that's not enough reason why, under the circumstances, to kill a journalist from Al Jazeera who has a very wide public, very wide audience.
You know, Emanuel, at the end of all the monthly reports, you're always sharing and finding a spot of light.
Well, the only spot of light I see right now is the fact that our book on shared sovereignty will be published in Dutch, that's the first language, probably in October, November this year, which is close enough.
And this is a unique book.
Written together with Tas Abu Saada, my Palestinian friend.
And you.
And me.
And do you think that the main topic of the book is hope that something good can come out of what is happening right now?
I think more than anything else, it's a book that gives hope to people. The details are less important, and for everybody to work on. There's lots to be done.
Emanuel Shahaf, people that want to be part of your journey, of the federation, of the books and the lectures in Israel, coming in Italy, what would you recommend them? How they can approach you?
On Facebook, Emanuel Shahaf, or the Federation Movement, or Identity, the Quest for Israel's Future.
Emanuel Shahaf, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.